Hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Globe. Today, Julia and I are going to explore a very important and historic event in international relations. We will talk about the Defense Pact signed between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Now, if you are learning English, this podcast will help you understand international news in simple language. Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your opinions in the comments about today's topic.
Thank you, Adam. Yes, dear listeners, your support means a lot to us. When you like and subscribe, it helps our channel grow, and we can bring you more podcasts that make global events easy to understand in English. So do not forget to also write your thoughts in the comments section. What do you think about Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signing this historic defense pact? We really want to hear your views and include them in our future discussions.
Let us start by first introducing the main idea of our topic. Many people might hear the words Defense Pact and feel confused. What does it actually mean? Simply put, a defense pact is an agreement between two countries to help each other in defense and security matters. It is like a promise of cooperation. Today we will explain why the agreement between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is considered so important, and why people are calling it historic.
That is right. When we use the word historic, it means something very special or important in history, something that people will remember for a long time. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia already have close ties, but this defense pact has taken their relationship to a new level. Throughout this podcast, Adam and I will slowly explain the background, the reasons, and the impact of this agreement. Do not worry if you are new to English. We will use simple words so you can follow easily.
For those who are listening as English learners, I want you to pay attention to new words and phrases. For example, today's key vocabulary includes pact, alliance, security, and cooperation. These are words you often see in international news. As we continue, Julia and I will explain each one carefully. By the end of the podcast, you will not only know more about Pakistan and Saudi Arabia's agreement, but also improve your English vocabulary and listening skills.
Exactly, Adam. Let me give you an example. Imagine two friends at school who decide to help each other with homework and protect each other when they face problems. That is like a small pact between two friends. Now think about two countries. When they make a pact, it usually means they agree to support each other in areas like security, training, and even technology. This is what Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have done. They have decided to officially support each other through this agreement.
Yes, Julia. And what makes this pact unique is that it involves two very influential countries. Pakistan is an important country in South Asia, with a strong military reputation, while Saudi Arabia is a major country in the Middle East, with strong resources and global influence. When these two nations come together in a defense pact, it shows that they want to strengthen their partnership and work together for stability. This cooperation is why people around the world are paying attention.
Now, dear listeners, we want you to remember something important. This podcast is not about taking sides or making political statements. Our purpose here is to teach English and to explain global events in a way that helps you understand the world better. So whenever you hear about news like this, think of it as both an opportunity to learn international affairs and a chance to expand your English vocabulary. That way, you can connect language learning with real-world events.
That is a very good point, Julia. In fact, one reason we chose today's topic is because it connects English learning with global awareness. When you learn about world events in English, you train your brain to understand both the language and the context. That is why I suggest listeners keep a notebook. Write down today's key terms: pact, defense, alliance, cooperation, and historic. Try to make your own simple sentences with them after the podcast ends.
Wonderful advice, Adam. So, to summarize this opening section, today we are discussing the historic defense pact between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. We will explore what a defense pact means, why this agreement is important, and how it may influence both countries and the wider world. But most importantly, we will guide you step by step in clear English. And once again, please like this video, subscribe to the English Globe, and share your opinions in the comments, because your thoughts help us improve.
To understand the importance of this new defense pact, we first need to look at the history between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. These two countries are not just ordinary partners. Their relationship goes back many decades and is built on religion, culture, and trust. From the very beginning, both nations have considered each other close friends. When we explore this background, you will see why this new pact is a natural step in their long friendship.
That is right, Adam. Let us go back in time to the early years of Pakistan. Pakistan became an independent country in 1947, and very soon after, Saudi Arabia recognized it. This was a strong signal of support. Recognition means that Saudi Arabia accepted Pakistan as a new and independent state. Since then, the two countries have built connections not only through politics, but also through religion. Both are majority Muslim countries, and this has created a deep bond between them.
Exactly, Julia. Religion has played a big role. Millions of Pakistanis travel every year to Saudi Arabia for Hajj and Umrah, which are Islamic pilgrimages. This movement of people creates strong people-to-people connections. Many Pakistanis feel a special closeness to Saudi Arabia because it is home to the two holiest cities of Islam, Mecca and Medina. This spiritual connection has always been a foundation for political and cultural ties between the two nations.
Yes, Adam, and we must not forget the economic connections as well. Over the years, millions of Pakistani workers have gone to Saudi Arabia for jobs. These workers have supported the Saudi economy, and in return, they have sent money back to their families in Pakistan. This flow of money is called remittances. For Pakistan, remittances from Saudi Arabia are very important for the economy. This shows how the relationship is not just about politics, but also about everyday lives.
That is a very important point, Julia. The presence of Pakistani workers in Saudi Arabia has also created cultural exchanges. Many Pakistanis living in Saudi Arabia bring their traditions, food, and language with them. At the same time, they learn about Saudi culture. This cultural sharing has created a sense of familiarity between the people of the two countries. It is like having a family relationship across borders, where people feel connected even though they live far apart.
And if we look at politics, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have often supported each other in international organizations. For example, they have worked together in the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is a group of Muslim-majority countries. They also support each other in times of need. When Pakistan has faced natural disasters, Saudi Arabia has often provided aid. Similarly, Pakistan has supported Saudi Arabia in defense matters, showing that the trust goes both ways.
You are right, Julia. One clear example is how Pakistan has provided training and expertise to Saudi armed forces over the years. Pakistani military officers have worked in Saudi Arabia to help train soldiers and strengthen defense systems. This cooperation has made Saudi Arabia value Pakistan's experience and professionalism in military matters. In return, Saudi Arabia has provided Pakistan with financial support during economic challenges. So, the partnership has always been two-sided.
Yes, Adam, and these exchanges have made the bond stronger with each passing decade. For instance, in the 1980s and 1990s, Saudi Arabia played a role in supporting Pakistan's economy when it was under pressure. At the same time, Pakistan was ready to support Saudi Arabia in times of regional security concerns. When we look at these patterns, we see that the relationship is not something new. It has been growing and deepening step by step for more than 70 years.
That is an excellent observation, Julia. Another thing to note is the way people in both countries view each other. In Pakistan, Saudi Arabia is often seen as a brotherly country, a partner that shares not only religion but also values and culture. In Saudi Arabia, Pakistanis are respected for their contribution to the workforce and for their military skills. This mutual respect has created trust at the leadership level as well as at the people's level, which is rare in international relations.
So, dear listeners, when you hear about the new Defence Pact, you must keep this background in mind. This pact did not appear suddenly or without reason. It is the result of many years of friendship, cooperation, and mutual support. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have built a relationship step by step in religion, culture, economy, and defense. That is why this agreement is being called historic. It is like the next chapter in a story that has been unfolding for decades.
Before we go deeper into the new agreement, we need to stop for a moment and ask a very basic but important question. What is a defense pact? The word defense means protecting or guarding something from harm, and the word pact means a formal agreement or promise. So when you put them together, a defense pact is a formal promise between countries to help each other stay safe. It is like a contract that shows trust and cooperation.
That is a clear way to put it, Adam. For our listeners, think of a defense pact like two neighbors who agree to watch over each other's houses. If one neighbor is away and someone tries to break in, the other neighbor will help protect the house. In the same way, countries that sign a defense pact agree to cooperate in times of need. They may share information, provide training, or support each other in case of threats. It is all about safety and trust.
Yes, Julia, and defense pacts can take many forms. Some pacts are very detailed, covering things like joint military exercises, sharing defense technology, or building new training programs together. Others may be more symbolic, showing political friendship and cooperation. But no matter the form, the main idea is the same. Two or more countries promise to support each other in matters related to defense and security. This makes them stronger together than they are alone.
That is right. In international relations, there are many famous defense pacts. For example, NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is one of the most well-known. Countries in NATO have agreed that if one member is attacked, the others will come to help. This is called collective defense. Of course, the pact between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is not as large as NATO, but it is still very important because it strengthens ties between two key countries in their regions.
Exactly, Julia. Another thing that learners should understand is that a defense pact does not always mean going to war. In fact, most of the time, it is about preventing conflicts. When countries sign such agreements, they send a message that they are united. This makes other countries think carefully before creating problems because they know there is cooperation and support. So defense pacts are often about peace and stability, not just about weapons or soldiers.
Yes, and that is why it is helpful to see defense pacts as tools of diplomacy as well as tools of security. Diplomacy means managing international relations through discussion, negotiation, and cooperation. When two countries sign a defense pact, it also shows they trust each other enough to share sensitive information and work closely on important matters. Trust is not built in one day. It takes years of cooperation, and Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have built that over decades.
Good point, Julia. Let me also explain a bit about the word mutual. You may hear this word often when people talk about defense pacts. Mutual means something that is shared or done by both sides. For example, mutual respect means both people respect each other. In a defense pact, mutual benefit means both countries gain something positive. Pakistan gains support and opportunities, while Saudi Arabia gains expertise and manpower. The benefits go both ways, not just one.
That is a very useful word for learners to remember. And another term you will often see is alliance. An alliance is a formal partnership or friendship between countries, usually for political or military purposes. So you could say that a defense pact is a type of alliance. When Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed this agreement, they made their alliance stronger. Understanding this vocabulary will help you read international news in English with more confidence.
Yes, Julia. And it is also good to think about why countries choose defense pacts instead of working alone. The world today is interconnected, and challenges are complex. One country may be strong in technology, while another is strong in manpower. By combining their strengths, they can protect themselves more effectively. For Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, this pact means that each country's unique strengths can be used to support the other, creating balance and stability.
So, listeners, to summarize, a defense pact is a formal agreement between countries to help and support each other in defense matters. It can involve training, intelligence sharing, joint exercises, or simply a promise of friendship and support. It is not always about fighting wars. Often it is about preventing conflict and promoting peace through cooperation. Now that you know what a defense pact means, it will be easier to understand why the one between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is historic.
Now that we understand what a defense pact is, the next question is why Pakistan and Saudi Arabia decided to sign this agreement at this particular time. In international relations, countries do not make such decisions without strong reasons. There are always political, security, and economic factors behind these moves. So in this section, Julia and I will explain the main reasons behind the pact in simple language, so that you, our listeners, can follow easily and learn new vocabulary.
Yes, Adam. One of the biggest reasons is security. Both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia live in regions that face many challenges. Pakistan is in South Asia, close to areas where tensions sometimes rise, and Saudi Arabia is in the Middle East, which also has complex conflicts. By working together, they can strengthen their defense and make sure they are better prepared for any kind of threat. So, security concerns are a very important motivation for this agreement.
That is true, Julia. Another reason is regional stability. The word stability means balance or peace that does not change quickly. Both countries want their regions to be more stable. When there is instability in a region, it can affect trade, the economy, and even the safety of ordinary people. By forming a pact, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia send a message that they are ready to work together for stability. This can help reduce risks and encourage cooperation with other countries.
Yes, Adam, and we should also consider the economic reasons. A strong defense relationship often leads to stronger economic cooperation. When countries trust each other in defense, they usually trust each other in business as well. Saudi Arabia has great financial resources, and Pakistan has skilled manpower and defense experience. By signing this pact, they are opening doors for future projects in trade, investment, and technology, which can benefit the people of both nations.
Exactly. We can also see this pact as a way to build strategic partnerships. The word strategic means carefully planned to achieve a long-term goal. Both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia want to strengthen their global positions. For Pakistan, closer ties with Saudi Arabia can improve its international image and bring support on the world stage. For Saudi Arabia, Pakistan's military expertise adds strength to its defense system. This makes the partnership strategic for both sides.
That is an excellent explanation, Adam. Let us also mention the word mutual benefit. We talked about this in the last section. This pact is not one-sided. It is based on give and take. Saudi Arabia benefits from Pakistan's defense experience, while Pakistan benefits from Saudi Arabia's financial support and resources. Both countries gain something, and this is what makes the pact sustainable. Agreements that only help one side usually do not last long, but this one helps both.
Yes, Julia. And another reason is global influence. Saudi Arabia is a key country in the Middle East, and Pakistan is an important country in South Asia. By joining forces, they can have a stronger voice in international forums. When countries cooperate, they increase their ability to influence decisions in global organizations. So this pact not only helps them internally, but also gives them more strength and respect in the international community?
Adam, I also think cultural and religious ties play a role. For many people, these are not just political agreements, but also emotional connections. Pakistanis see Saudi Arabia as the heart of the Muslim world, while Saudis value Pakistan as a strong partner with shared beliefs. This emotional connection makes both governments more confident in working together. The trust built through religion and culture makes it easier to form formal agreements like this defense pact.
That is very true, Julia. Another reason is training and technology exchange. Saudi Arabia wants to modernize its defense systems, and Pakistan has long experience in military training. By cooperating, Saudi soldiers can learn from Pakistani expertise, while Pakistan can gain access to Saudi investment and modern technology. This exchange of skills and resources is very valuable and strengthens both countries. It is not just about weapons, it is about knowledge and growth.
So, to summarize this section, there are many reasons why Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed this historic defense pact. Security concerns, regional stability, economic cooperation, strategic goals, mutual benefits, global influence, cultural ties, and the exchange of training and technology. Together, these reasons explain why both countries see this pact as important and necessary. For English learners, remember key words like security, stability, strategic, mutual benefit, and influence.
Now that we understand why Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed this pact, the next step is to look at what the agreement actually includes. Many people hear about a defense pact but are not sure about the details. This is why we will explain the main features in very clear English. Remember, our goal is to teach you about global events and help you improve your vocabulary. So let us explore the key areas: training, intelligence sharing, joint exercises, and cooperation.
That is right, Adam. Let us start with training. Training means teaching people new skills or helping them improve the skills they already have. In this pact, Pakistan is expected to help train Saudi soldiers. Pakistan has a long history of military training and has trained soldiers from many countries. For Saudi Arabia, this is a valuable opportunity. And for English learners, remember that the word training is not only for the military. It can also mean preparing for any kind of job.
Good point, Julia. The second feature is intelligence sharing. In international relations, the word intelligence does not mean being smart. Instead, it means important information, often related to security. Countries collect intelligence to protect themselves from threats. By sharing intelligence, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia will help each other stay safe. In simple terms, it is like two friends telling each other important secrets to keep each other out of danger. That builds trust and safety.
Exactly, Adam. Now, let us talk about joint exercises. This phrase may sound complicated, but it is actually simple. A joint exercise means that soldiers from two countries practice together. They might do training activities like flying planes, using equipment, or planning rescue missions. The word joint here means together, and exercise means practice. These exercises are not about war. They are about learning to cooperate so that, if needed, they can work smoothly as one team.
Yes, and cooperation is really the key idea in this pact. Cooperation means working together for a common purpose. When countries cooperate, they can share their strengths and cover each other's weaknesses. For example, Pakistan has strong experience in ground forces, while Saudi Arabia has advanced equipment and resources. By cooperating, they can combine these strengths. The pact is not about conflict, but about partnership, and cooperation is the word that best explains this spirit.
Another important feature is technology transfer. This is when one country shares knowledge, skills, or equipment with another country. For example, Pakistan can share its experience with training programs, while Saudi Arabia can share access to modern defense technology. Technology transfer is not only about machines, but also about teaching people how to use them effectively. For English learners, Transfer means moving something from one place to another, like moving knowledge from one group to another.
That is very well explained, Julia. Another term that often comes up is capacity building. This phrase means helping someone develop their abilities or improve their skills. In this pact, capacity building means Pakistan will help Saudi forces become stronger and more skilled, while Saudi Arabia may help Pakistan strengthen its resources. It is a two-way process. Capacity building is a common phrase in international development and education, so it is useful vocabulary for learners to remember.
Yes. And we should also explain the idea of defense cooperation agreements. Sometimes people think these agreements are only about fighting wars. But most of the time, they are about peace, stability, and learning. For example, a defense cooperation agreement may include disaster response training, where soldiers learn how to help people during floods or earthquakes. So defense cooperation is broader than war. It is about preparing to face different kinds of challenges together.
Exactly, Julia. Another feature of this pact is manpower support. Manpower means the number of people available for work. Pakistan has a large and experienced military, and Saudi Arabia values this expertise. Through this pact, Pakistan may provide personnel to assist Saudi Arabia in different areas, not only in defense but also in training and technical advice. For learners, manpower is another word for workforce, the group of people who have the skills to complete tasks.
Finally, Adam, we should highlight the feature of mutual commitment. A pact is not just about practical actions, it is also about promises. Both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are promising to stand by each other when needed. This commitment builds trust and shows the world that their partnership is strong. The word mutual again means shared by both sides. Mutual respect, mutual benefit, and mutual commitment are all key terms that help describe the features of this agreement.
So to wrap up this section, let us list the key features clearly for our listeners. Training, intelligence sharing, joint exercises, cooperation, technology transfer, capacity building, manpower support, and mutual commitment. These features show that the pact is about learning, sharing, and working together rather than conflict. For learners, I recommend writing down these terms and practicing them. Use them in simple sentences like countries cooperate through training or mutual commitment builds trust. Whenever two countries sign a defense pact, the first question people ask is, how will the neighbors react? In this case, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are located in very important regions. Pakistan sits in South Asia, next to India, Afghanistan, Iran, and China, while Saudi Arabia is in the Middle East, near the Persian Gulf and Red Sea. These neighbors always watch carefully when big agreements are made, because such pacts can change the balance of security in their areas.
For nearby countries, reactions often depend on their relationship with Pakistan or Saudi Arabia. If a country already has friendly ties with them, it may see the pact as a positive step. For example, some nations may believe that this cooperation makes the region safer, because two large countries are working together for stability. But if a country has tensions or disagreements with either side, it may worry that the pact will give extra strength to one side, creating a sense of imbalance.
Let's make this easy for English learners. The word stability means balance, safety, or calmness in society. When countries talk about stability in international relations, they mean fewer chances of conflict or sudden change. On the other hand, the word imbalance means when one side seems stronger than the other, which might cause tension. This is why neighbors often pay attention to such pacts, because they want to know if it creates stability or imbalance in their region.
Now, let's look at reactions from global powers. Big countries like the United States, China, and Russia usually study these agreements carefully. They do not always make public comments, but analysts, journalists, and researchers try to predict their views. For example, if a global power already has good relations with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, It might see this pact as a sign of stronger unity among allies. But if it has competing interests in the region, it may watch more cautiously.
In simple words, the term competing interests means when two or more countries want influence or control in the same place, like two businesses trying to sell products in one market. In international politics, these interests can be about trade routes, resources like oil and gas, or even cultural influence. That is why global powers often study defense pacts carefully, because they might affect their own interests, either in a positive or a negative way.
Students, let's also learn a useful phrase: international relations. It is the study and practice of how countries interact with each other. Defense agreements like this one are part of international relations because they shape how countries cooperate, compete, or communicate. For example, this pact may encourage other countries to build similar agreements with their own allies, or it may push them to rethink their strategies.
That's right, Julia. One reaction we often see globally is a mix of curiosity and caution. Curiosity means interest in knowing what this pact will bring in the future, while caution means being careful about how it could affect existing partnerships. Many nations avoid making quick judgments. Instead, they wait to see whether the pact focuses on peace, training, and cooperation, or if it expands into areas that might change regional balances too strongly.
It is also important for learners to notice the word neutral. When we describe reactions, we use neutral language, meaning we do not take sides or show bias. This is also how many governments react in their official statements. They often welcome cooperation that brings peace but avoid strong negative or positive words until they see real results. Neutrality in language helps reduce misunderstandings between nations.
Another reaction comes from international organizations. Groups like the United Nations or the Organization of Islamic Cooperation often encourage defense partnerships if they improve global peace and humanitarian aid. For example, if the pact leads to better coordination in disaster relief or peacekeeping missions, international groups are likely to support it. This shows how defense agreements can have benefits outside of military matters, creating goodwill in the global community.
Finally, students, let's connect this to vocabulary. The word goodwill means kindness, friendly feelings, or positive intentions. When nations show goodwill, they are building trust not only with their partners, but also with the world. A pact like this can be a way to express goodwill if it is used for cooperation, stability, and development. That is why global and regional reactions are not just about armies. They are about how countries see future possibilities for peace and progress.
When we talk about this defense pact, one of the main points is how it benefits Pakistan. First, it strengthens Pakistan's defense. By working closely with Saudi Arabia, Pakistan can improve its military training, share intelligence, and learn from Saudi Arabia's advanced systems. For English learners, the word strengthen means to make something stronger or more effective, and here it refers to Pakistan's ability to protect itself and its citizens.
Exactly, Adam. Another benefit is economic support. While the pact is mainly about defense, it can also improve Pakistan's economy. Saudi Arabia has strong financial resources and can invest in projects in Pakistan, like energy, infrastructure, and technology. When countries cooperate in defense, trust often grows in other areas too, creating new business and trade opportunities. This shows how security and economy are often connected.
That is a very good point, Julia. The pact also gives Pakistan opportunities for training and skill development. Pakistani soldiers can work with Saudi forces in joint exercises, workshops, and special programs. These activities help them learn new techniques and strategies, which makes the army more capable and flexible. For English learners, skill development simply means learning or improving abilities that help you do your work better.
Yes, Adam. And let's not forget military technology exchange. Pakistan can access some advanced tools and equipment through Saudi Arabia, and in return, it can provide its experience in operating certain systems efficiently. For learners, technology exchange means sharing machines, methods, or knowledge to improve performance. This is one reason why both countries value the agreement. It is not only about defense, but also about learning from each other.
Another important feature is strategic support. Strategy means a carefully planned approach to achieve a goal. With this pact, Pakistan gains a trusted partner in Saudi Arabia for regional challenges. This makes Pakistan's position stronger in South Asia and the Middle East. For students, think of it as having a reliable teammate in a game. When you plan together, both sides can respond better to problems or opportunities.
That is a great way to explain it, Adam. Pakistan also benefits from mutual trust. Trust is very important in international relations. By signing this pact, both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia promise to support each other in defense and security matters. Mutual trust means both sides believe the other will keep its promises, which makes cooperation more effective. English learners can use mutual to describe something shared by two or more people.
Exactly, Julia. Another benefit is the improvement of Pakistan's global image. When a country signs a defense pact with a respected partner, other nations notice. This can improve Pakistan's reputation as a country that is capable, cooperative, and stable. For learners, global image means how the world sees a country. A strong image can help attract investments, partnerships, and diplomatic support.
And we should also mention civil-military collaboration. When the military grows stronger and more trained, it can also assist in natural disasters, humanitarian support, and emergency situations. Pakistan's military has a history of helping citizens during floods or earthquakes. Through this pact, enhanced skills and training mean better protection and support, not just for defense, but for society as a whole.
Finally, students, let's summarize the key benefits for Pakistan. Strengthened defense, economic opportunities, advanced training, military technology access, strategic support, mutual trust, and improved global image. Each of these areas is connected. When Pakistan grows stronger in one area, it often benefits the others. For English learners, connecting ideas like this helps understand how politics, security, and economics work together.
Yes, Adam. Remember that these benefits are long-term. The pact is not a temporary arrangement. It is a foundation for continued cooperation. For learners, this teaches us an important lesson. Building partnerships and trust over time creates strong results. Understanding the importance of such agreements in simple terms helps you follow international news and also practice English vocabulary like strengthen, cooperation, trust, strategy, and technology.
Now let's talk about why this defense pact is important for Saudi Arabia. First, it strengthens their defense and security. Saudi Arabia faces challenges in its region, and by partnering with Pakistan, it gains access to experienced military training, intelligence sharing, and strategic support. For English learners, security means safety and protection, while defense refers to the ability to protect the country from threats.
Exactly, Adam. Another major benefit is manpower support. Manpower means the number of skilled people available to do a job. Pakistan has one of the largest and most trained armies in the Muslim world. By working with Pakistan, Saudi Arabia can benefit from their expertise and knowledge. This does not mean taking control, but learning and sharing skills to make their own forces more capable and prepared for emergencies.
Yes, Julia. The pact also provides technology sharing opportunities. Saudi Arabia can access Pakistan's defense methods, strategies, and sometimes specialized tools. At the same time, Pakistan can learn from Saudi Arabia's modern equipment and advanced systems. Technology sharing is about learning to use tools and techniques more effectively. For learners, sharing means giving and receiving knowledge or resources to help each other improve.
Another important aspect is regional influence. When Saudi Arabia signs a pact with Pakistan, it strengthens its role in the Middle East and South Asia. Influence means the ability to affect or guide decisions. A strong partnership signals to other countries that Saudi Arabia has capable allies, which can increase its political and strategic power. English learners can see influence as the ability to shape outcomes or decisions in a group or region.
Yes, and this pact also improves coordination and cooperation. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan will plan exercises, share intelligence, and practice strategies together. Cooperation means working together to achieve a common goal. Better coordination makes the armed forces of both countries more efficient and reduces mistakes during emergencies. For learners, cooperation is a useful word for teamwork in both politics and everyday life.
Another benefit for Saudi Arabia is capacity building. Capacity means the ability to do something. By learning from Pakistan's experienced military, Saudi Arabia can improve its soldiers' skills, train officers, and develop more efficient systems. For English learners, building capacity means making a person or organization stronger and more capable in specific areas. It is a long-term benefit of working together.
Exactly, Julia. The pact also strengthens mutual trust. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan promise to support each other in defense matters. Trust here is important because both sides must rely on one another during challenges. Mutual trust makes partnerships more effective and ensures that both countries benefit from shared strategies, resources, and expertise. For learners, mutual means shared by both sides.
Finally, Saudi Arabia also benefits economically. While this pact focuses on defense, stronger relations often encourage investments and trade. Cooperation in one area, like military training, can lead to joint projects, business opportunities, and financial support in other areas. For students, remember that security and economy are often connected because trust and stability encourage investment.
So, to summarize, the Defense Pact helps Saudi Arabia in many ways. Stronger defense and security, manpower support, technology sharing, regional influence, better cooperation, capacity building, mutual trust, and economic opportunities. For learners, these points show how partnerships work in practice. Understanding them in simple language helps connect ideas in international relations and improves vocabulary with words like capacity, influence, cooperation, and security. Today's discussion about the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Defense Pact is not only important for understanding global politics, but also very useful for students of international relations. For learners, this pact can be seen as a case study, an example to understand how countries build alliances, manage security, and create strategic partnerships. By studying real-world examples, students can connect theory with practice and improve their ability to discuss international politics in English.
Yes, Adam. Let's start with some key vocabulary. The word alliance is central to this discussion. An alliance is a formal agreement between countries to support each other, usually in defense, politics, or economics. In this pact, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are forming a strong alliance. Students can practice using this word in sentences like, countries form alliances to improve security, or an alliance helps nations share resources and knowledge.
Another important word is cooperation. Cooperation means working together to achieve a common goal. In international relations, cooperation can involve joint exercises, intelligence sharing, trade agreements, or diplomatic talks. In this pact, both Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are cooperating in military training, technology exchange, and strategic planning. Learners can practice sentences such as, cooperation between countries can prevent conflicts, or effective cooperation builds trust among nations.
Let's also discuss strategy, another key term. Strategy is a carefully planned approach to achieve long-term goals. In this case, the strategy involves strengthening defense, improving regional influence, and building mutual trust. Students can practice English by saying, a country needs a clear strategy for international security, or strategic partnerships help nations respond effectively to challenges. Understanding strategy helps learners think critically about global events.
Another useful concept is mutual benefit. This phrase means that both sides gain something positive from an agreement. In this pact, Pakistan gains training and investment opportunities, while Saudi Arabia gains manpower expertise and technical knowledge. English learners can practice this term in sentences like, international agreements should create mutual benefits, or mutual benefit encourages long-term partnerships. Recognizing mutual benefit is crucial in understanding international politics.
This pact also illustrates how regional politics and global considerations intersect. Students of international relations can see that a bilateral agreement is not just about the two countries involved. Neighboring countries and global powers watch closely, and the pact may influence regional balance, cooperation patterns, and diplomatic relationships. For learners, phrases like regional influence and global considerations are useful in discussions or essays on international issues.
Another lesson for students is that defense pacts often combine practical actions with symbolic gestures. Practical actions include training, joint exercises, and intelligence sharing. Symbolic gestures include demonstrating trust, commitment, and alignment with global allies. For learners, understanding the difference between practical and symbolic is important. You can practice sentences like, symbolic actions show goodwill, or practical measures strengthen defense.
Vocabulary practice is key for English learners who want to discuss international relations. Words like alliance, cooperation, strategy, mutual benefit, influence, diplomacy, commitment, stability, and partnership appear frequently in global news. Students can write simple sentences using these words. For example, diplomacy helps countries maintain stability, or partnerships between nations can create mutual benefits. Practicing this vocabulary helps learners communicate complex ideas clearly.
Another lesson is analyzing motivations. Every country signs agreements for specific reasons: security, economy, regional influence, or global reputation. By examining the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Pact, students can ask questions such as, why did Pakistan choose this partner? Or, what does Saudi Arabia gain from this cooperation? Using questions like these helps learners develop analytical skills and practice English in academic discussions.
Students should also learn how to summarize agreements in simple English. For example, one can say, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a defense pact. It includes training, intelligence sharing, and joint exercises. Both countries benefit and strengthen their regional and global positions. This method of summarizing helps learners explain complex political events clearly, improving both writing and speaking skills.
Another useful approach is comparing case studies. Students can compare this pact with other alliances, like NATO or bilateral agreements in Asia or Europe. By analyzing similarities and differences, learners expand vocabulary, develop critical thinking, and become confident discussing international relations. Sentences like, this pact is similar to other alliances in promoting mutual benefit, or, unlike some alliances, this one focuses on training and technology, help learners practice comparison language.
Finally, learners can use this case study to practice debates and discussions in English. Questions like, do defense pacts promote peace or conflict? Or, how do alliances affect regional stability? Encourage students to use key vocabulary and express opinions clearly. Practicing these discussions enhances confidence and fluency, allowing learners to connect academic knowledge with real-world international issues.
To summarize this section, students of international relations can learn several lessons from the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Defense Pact. The importance of alliances, cooperation, strategy, and mutual benefit. Analyzing motivations, summarizing agreements, comparing case studies, and discussing ideas in English. Practicing these concepts improves both understanding of global politics and English communication skills.
Remember, For English learners, the key is to connect vocabulary with real examples. Use words like alliance, cooperation, strategy, mutual benefit, diplomacy, influence, and stability in sentences and discussions. This way, you not only learn about international relations, but also improve your ability to express complex ideas clearly and confidently in English.
In this section, we focus on important lessons and practical tips that students of international relations and English learners can take from the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Defense Pact. One of the main lessons is understanding alliances. An alliance is a formal agreement between two or more countries to support each other in areas such as defense, politics, or trade. For English learners, alliance is a useful word because it can also be applied in daily life to describe teamwork, partnerships, or collaborations.
Exactly, Adam. For instance, in this pact, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are forming a strong alliance. They share military training, intelligence, and strategic plans. By studying this, learners can practice using sentences like, countries form alliances to strengthen security, or an alliance can help nations achieve mutual goals. Understanding alliances helps students see how cooperation works in global politics and provides real examples to practice English vocabulary.
Another important word is cooperation, which means working together to reach a shared goal. Cooperation is seen in joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and technology exchanges in this pact. For learners, cooperation is a word that can be used in many contexts. For example, cooperation among students improves learning, or international cooperation strengthens peace and stability. Practicing this word with real-world examples makes it easier to remember and use in discussions.
Students should also focus on strategy, a central concept in international relations. Strategy means a careful plan to achieve long-term objectives. In the Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Pact, strategy involves improving defense, regional influence, and technological capabilities. Learners can practice sentences such as, countries need a strategy to solve complex problems, or a clear strategy ensures effective cooperation and preparedness. This vocabulary allows learners to discuss politics in English more clearly.
Another key phrase is mutual benefit. This refers to situations where both sides gain advantages from an agreement. Pakistan benefits from advanced technology and investments, while Saudi Arabia gains trained manpower and strategic knowledge. English learners can practice this phrase by saying, mutual benefit encourages long-term partnerships, or agreements should create mutual benefits for all parties involved. This teaches students how to describe balanced agreements in international relations.
It is also important to analyze regional and global impacts. Learners can ask questions like, how will neighboring countries view this pact? Or, what are the potential effects on global powers? Understanding the broader implications teaches critical thinking and helps students discuss topics in simple English. Phrases like regional influence or global considerations are particularly useful for essays, presentations, or casual discussions about international politics.
Another useful tip is summarizing complex ideas in simple English. Students can practice summarizing the pact by saying, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a defense pact to share training, technology, and strategic knowledge. Both countries benefit and strengthen their regional and global positions. Summarizing helps learners explain detailed topics clearly, improving both speaking and writing skills.
Vocabulary practice is also critical. Words like trust, diplomacy, stability, partnership, preparedness, influence, commitment, and capacity building are key. Learners can make their own sentences. Trust between countries improves diplomacy, or preparedness ensures safety and stability. Using vocabulary in sentences helps learners retain meaning and apply it in real-life discussions.
Another practical tip is making comparisons with other alliances. For example, students can compare this pact with NATO or other regional agreements. This exercise develops analytical skills and provides more opportunities to use vocabulary like alliance, strategy, cooperation, and mutual benefit. For example, unlike NATO, this pact focuses on joint exercises and training, but both aim to strengthen regional security.
Learners should also practice asking questions and discussing opinions. Questions like, do defense pacts promote peace? Or, how does this alliance affect regional balance? Encourage learners to form sentences in English and discuss ideas logically. This helps learners think critically and practice using relevant vocabulary in meaningful contexts.
Another useful tip is active listening and repetition. While listening to podcasts, learners should note key words and phrases, repeat them aloud, and try forming sentences. For example, when hearing capacity building, a learner can say, "Capacity building improves the skills of personnel." Active engagement helps learners improve pronunciation, comprehension, and sentence formation.
Finally, learners can connect English learning with real-world politics. Studying this defense pact shows how vocabulary and concepts are applied in real situations. Words like alliance, cooperation, strategy, mutual benefit, diplomacy, and trust are not only academic, they help learners understand news, international events, and policy discussions while practicing English effectively.
By practicing these tips, learners improve both their knowledge of international relations and their English skills. Summarizing, comparing case studies, practicing vocabulary, asking questions, and using real examples all contribute to stronger communication abilities. Students can confidently discuss international issues in English and understand global events more clearly.
Yes, Adam. The Pakistan-Saudi Arabia Defense Pact is an excellent case study for learners to practice vocabulary, critical thinking, and discussion skills. Applying these lessons helps learners connect language learning with real-world knowledge, making English learning both practical and engaging.
As we reach the final part of our discussion, it is important to consider what this defense pact might mean for the future. Agreements like the one between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are not just about today. They can influence the next 10 or 20 years. Students of international relations can see this as a lesson in how long-term planning, strategy, and cooperation shape global politics. For English learners, outlook means a view or perspective about the future.
Yes, Adam. One key point is that this pact could strengthen regional stability. When two strong countries cooperate, neighboring nations may feel more secure and tensions may reduce. Stability encourages trade, diplomacy, and social development. Students should note the word stability, which means calm, balance, or order. It is often used in politics, economics, and daily life to describe steady conditions that benefit everyone.
Another consideration is the impact on global partnerships. Countries around the world watch such agreements carefully. By forming strong partnerships, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia may influence other nations to develop similar pacts. For English learners, partnership means working together to achieve a goal. You can practice sentences like, "Strong partnerships improve cooperation," or "Global partnerships create trust between nations."
The Pact also sets a model for international cooperation. Students can study how agreements balance security, technology exchange, and economic benefits. This shows that defense pacts are not only about military strength, but also about mutual growth, knowledge sharing, and long-term planning. Vocabulary like cooperation, mutual benefit, and strategy helps learners describe such complex ideas in simple English.
A future implication is the enhancement of military and technological skills. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia will continue joint exercises, training, and sharing of methods. Over time, this improves preparedness for challenges such as natural disasters, emergencies, or regional threats. For learners, words like preparedness and enhancement are useful in both political and everyday contexts. Preparedness means being ready for possible situations.
Another lesson is about trust and diplomacy. Mutual trust between the two countries can lead to better diplomatic relations with other nations. Diplomacy is the art of managing international relations through negotiation, discussion, and agreement. Students can practice sentences like, "Good diplomacy creates peace," or "Trust is essential in diplomacy." This shows how soft skills complement defense agreements in shaping global relationships.
For students, it is also important to note long-term economic effects. When defense cooperation strengthens trust, it encourages investment, trade, and infrastructure projects. Both countries can benefit economically while improving security. Learners can practice using phrases like "economic cooperation supports stability" or "mutual benefit encourages partnerships," which connect politics, security, and economics in simple English.
Another future outlook is regional influence. Strong partnerships allow countries to have a greater voice in international forums. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia can support each other on regional and global issues. English learners can practice the word influence by saying, "Countries use alliances to increase influence," or "Influence is important in international relations." It shows that power is not only about military strength, but also about cooperation and strategy.
Students should also consider lessons for young leaders and scholars. By analyzing this pact, they learn how strategy, trust, and mutual benefits guide international politics. They can practice English by summarizing complex ideas simply, using phrases like, "This pact teaches cooperation," or "Mutual benefit is important in global agreements." Understanding real examples makes both learning English and learning politics easier.
Finally, let us reflect on the bigger picture. Defense agreements like this one are about more than armies. They are about planning for the future, building trust, and sharing knowledge. They show that international relations involve careful thought, strategy, and respect for other nations. English learners can take these lessons to practice both vocabulary and critical thinking. Words like alliance, cooperation, strategy, trust, and mutual benefit summarize the main ideas.
To conclude, students and listeners can see this defense pact as a valuable case study. It demonstrates how countries work together for security, economic growth, and regional influence. It also teaches important vocabulary and concepts for discussing global issues in English. By connecting theory with real-world examples, learners can improve both understanding of international relations and their English communication skills.
Yes, Adam. Remember, studying such agreements helps learners discuss politics confidently, analyze global events, and use vocabulary correctly. Observing the future impact, cooperation, and lessons from this pact can guide students in both English learning and understanding international affairs. Agreements like this are examples of strategy, mutual benefit, and long-term vision in action.
Thank you for joining us in this long discussion. We hope this podcast helps you improve your English while learning about international relations. Keep practicing vocabulary, try summarizing these ideas, and apply them in discussions. Understanding defense pacts gives insight into how countries interact peacefully and strategically around the world.
And that is our final reflection for today's topic. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the English Globe, and share your opinions about this historic pact in the comments. Your thoughts and questions help us make future podcasts more interesting and educational. Keep learning, stay curious, and practice your English every day.